Welcome to How Now, the podcast where we talk about how to live in the now. And here's your host, Kim Martin Raymond.
Peace and blessings, love and light, and welcome to another edition of the How Now podcast, where we talk about how to live in the now. I am your host, Kim Martin Raymond. I'm a minister, spiritual life coach, author, and founder of Redefining You, LLC, where I help my clients to realign themselves, mind, body, and spirit. And again, welcome to the second season of the How Now podcast. We are so excited to be here in this new year, in this new season, to talk about how to live in the now. And if you are new to the How Now podcast, please go over to my website, www.hownowpodcast.com. And that way you can be kept abreast of what platforms you can find our podcast on. You can also click on the link for our YouTube channel, so that way you don't miss another episode. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Again, that's www.hownowpodcast.com. Okay, so let's get to it. I want to talk about three letters that we've heard in the past. We've heard over the past couple of years, and those letters are CBD. And what we're going to do is we're going to demystify CBD, talk a little bit about it. What is it? What are its effects? What are some of the things that we've heard that are myths? What are some of the things that are actually true about CBD? There's just been a lot that has gone on. There's been a lot of availability. There have been all kinds of places where you can obtain CBD, and we really want to demystify. We really want to have a conversation about this. So, of course, as is customary with the How Now podcast, I'm going to have my guest introduce herself at this time, and we'll dive right in.
Hello, everyone. First, thank you so much, Kim, for having me on tonight. I'm so excited. My name is Jurina Pender. I am a national wholesale CBD distributor. And I am a wife, a mother of four beautiful girls. Yeah. I, work in the healthcare field by day, and I am your CBD distributor by night. And so that's just a little bit about me and,
awesome.
All that I do.
Well, welcome. We are so glad that you are here, like I said, to help us demystify CBD. So before we even get started, tell us what CBD stands for.
All right, so CBD stands for cannabidiol, and it is hemp derived, and that with those three little words, those three little letters have a very huge word attached to it.
Yes. Oh my goodness, I can't even pronounce the word again, so I'm just gonna let you have that. but I definitely wanted to just know that it's not just the initials. There's actually a word, and it runs together like that. And right. Like you said, it is hemp-based. So talk to me about how you came about learning this. Now, you said you're in the healthcare industry. How did you come about learning about CBD?
Well, the funny thing is CBD actually was brought to me. I did not realize or didn't know anything about it. The company that I'm affiliated with, we, offer home-based products to people, and CBD actually joined our portfolio. Okay. At the time, I didn't realize what a game changer it was for me personally. Okay. But that's how it was introduced to me.
Okay, so it was introduced in with a package for people who were having chronic pain. How was it introduced? Was it introduced on that level as something that was something that helped people who were having chronic issues with pain, or was it introduced in another kind of way as a supplement or something like that?
So the first time I was introduced to it, it definitely was for the chronic pain. Okay. And the way that it was introduced, we actually had someone walking around with the cream, and anyone that had any type of joint pain or chronic pain, we smeared it on them. And that is how it was introduced to us in that way. So it was like you get it, see it, believe it. And it was just that first introduction, just unbelievable how well it worked.
Wow. Okay. So was there any type of chronic pain that you were experiencing at the time that you were introduced?
Yes, so I am not sure if any of your listeners are familiar with sciatica, but I have that.
Oh,
And
okay.
so that is something that I struggle with. And the way that it works, you can feel fine one day and then all of a sudden just have crushing pain. It can put you down for days. And so at the time, I was dealing with some pain with my sciatica. And so that is what I used that day, rubbed it on me, and just how quickly I was able to start to move around without all the pain. And then the other thing that was so great about it was how long it lasted. So
Mhm.
that's a game changer. Anyone with sciatica,
Yes.
inflammation, CBD is what you want to you really want to introduce yourself
Right,
to it.
right. You see, and I have spinal stenosis, and so
Okay.
yes, every now and then, you'll have that radiating pain, or you'll have those pins and needles that are going down your legs, and it's weird. Now, what's interesting is I love that you said that it was a cream that you were introduced to, because you hear CBD and people say, "Oh my goodness, it's medical marijuana," or they'll say, "Oh, so it wasn't like you were in an alley somewhere and someone came and poured something to you." And they said, "Hey, here, smoke this, try this." See, that's one of the myths, and that's why we're here to debunk some of that, because people don't realize that you know it comes in different forms. And like
Right.
you said, you were introduced to it in the form of a cream,
Mhm.
and it was something, like you said, that was applied to your skin. And so that's one of the myths, that it's something that, oh well, it's a marijuana, you have to smoke it, and that's the only way
Right.
that it can be used. And so let's talk a little bit about some of those uses, or some of the
Right.
other ways in which CBD is distributed, because like you said, like, we know about the cream. What
Mhm.
are some other ways that it's distributed?
Okay. So CBD can come in so many forms. You have your cream, which is what I talked about. There are topical sprays that you can use. There are tinctures that you take, and that is something that you do ingest.
Okay.
Um, there are also gummies. So for people that have heard of that, you have the gummies, coffee, tea. So I mean, lotions. CBD is pretty much in any form that you like it in. I mean, there are even bath bombs. I mean, CBD can can
Wow.
can be used so many different ways. And so it allows people to get their daily dose of CBD at their own comfort level.
Okay. And is it something that is prescribed, or is it something that people can get over the counter?
Okay. So you can get it over the counter. Typically, you don't need a prescription.
Mhm.
I do encourage anyone that is taking medication or multiple medications to talk with their primary care provider, let them know that you're introducing this to your daily intake.
Mhm.
Um, kind of just like you would if you were starting a supplement or a vitamin.
Gotcha.
Um, so, I definitely strongly encourage you to do that. But for anyone that wants to start taking it, you absolutely do not need a prescription.
Okay, well, you see, that's good to know. But I do like that you do put that caveat out there, that it is something that you need to discuss with your physician, because even though it's topical, or even though there are different ways in which you can apply CBD, you still want to make sure that whatever the side effects are, if there are
Right.
any, and we'll talk about that in a moment too,
Okay.
just making sure that it doesn't conflict with anything that you're taking on a normal basis. Because
Right.
what comes to mind for me is, all right, if it's a lotion, or you can use like that, am I using it as a lotion in just that particular area where I'm experiencing the pain? Because some people think, oh, it's lotion, I can just put it all over my whole body, and you're just like, wait a minute.
Listen, I promise you, and for people that know me, they know I'm not above. I will put that pain cream on like a lotion, top to bottom.
Wow.
I just give it everything I have. So you can never like do too much with it. Let me say
Gotcha.
that. And with the lotion, it has a really good smell, and
Mhm.
so you can put it all the way on. But like you said, some of it is at the point of pain. No point in overusing it or using too much.
Right. And so when they do give out the CBD, there are, I'm sure, instructions with how to properly use it. correct?
Absolutely. And I even encourage people, and with a lot of people my health partners that I share CBD with, I always sit down with them first and do what I call like a CBD profile. So then that way we know why you're taking it, what you're taking, and then give them as much instruction and direction with it. Because although it's very user-friendly, there's not a lot to it. I just like for people to feel like very comfortable in what they're doing, because it is new. And I don't want, anyone to start taking CBD and, even though they're not misusing it, but sometimes in their, their hesitancy, because it's so new, they don't use enough, or they don't use it consistently. So that's one of the main things I try to make sure I educate new CBD users on, like the proper usages and to consistently use it.
Gotcha. And I mean, and that makes perfect sense, because you want to make sure that with anything that you use, anything that's new, like you said, there's that fear of, like you said, you don't want to overuse it, or you don't want to underuse it. And like you said, it's all about consistency as well, and like I said, for a person like me who has not tried it and is just curious, that's the thing. It's like, okay, how do I go about getting it, and does it come with instructions, and how do I use it, and which one is the best one to use? So let's talk a little bit about those kinds of things.
Okay.
If you have a diagnosis, like say for chronic pain, and I guess they would reach out to contact someone who is a distributor. They would tell them what let me let you tell us, what is the process? So if they come to you initially, okay, I'm saying, okay, I want to try the CBD. I have this chronic pain, let's say with my spinal stenosis. What do I do? What is the first step?
Okay, so the first thing I would do is definitely start talking to you about your comfort levels. Okay. So for someone with chronic pain, a lot of times it's rooted in inflammation of some sort. Okay. And so with the pain cream or the topical spray, the purpose of those is to give you that immediate pain relief. Gotcha. So a lot of times with my health partners, I have them start out with the pain spray or the pain cream, because that's a lot of people's comfort level. They don't mind something topical, but to get them to understand ingesting it, the topical kind of helps make them a believer, see the benefit of the CBD. And then we transition into taking it daily, like a vitamin or a supplement. And that's where the tinctures or like a spray will come into effect. And the thing is, like with CBD, it works inside out. Okay. So a lot of people are CBD deficient and don't know it. And that was one of the things that medical professionals discovered, was there's this area where we're born with the CBD and we're deficient in it. And so the CBD actually helps you reach that deficiency. So because it helps so many things, like a lot of people know about the pain, but the other things that it actually deals with, like anxiety, migraines, it helps, menstrual cycles, help alleviate the heaviness of it, things like that. And it does, and the question is, why can it do so much? It's because you're deficient in these areas, and the CBD responds to your CBD receptors, and it starts to make you whole in that area. And so taking it through the actual tincture, you start to really experience the relief. So like for myself or for yourself, but with the sciatica, the pain cream, the topical, that was so helpful, and I felt that immediate relief. But when I started taking a daily tincture, I went from having, a 2-day cycle of pain or 3-day to it being about 3 or 4 months of no pain due to sciatica. And so that's what you want to graduate to really start to no longer be deficient in CBD and start to really, your body respond in the healthiest way.
Wow. So you see, now I learned something. I'm today years old, learning that we actually have CBD in our bodies, and a deficiency, just like you hear about iron deficiency, you hear about things like that there's actually something in our body that when taking the CBD, you're saying that it fires off those receptors and helps to deal with it. That is amazing to me. I'm fascinated by that alone, just to know that that's something that exists, and like you said, from the inside out. I mean, and that, I like that the topical, introduces people. And that's one way for people who, I guess, who are curious about it can see it, like you said, those immediate effects, because all I've ever heard of, all I've ever thought of is just, oh, it's just something that you ingest, is something that, goes in that way. And I thought the only way you can get it is either through a little drop that you put under your tongue or something like that, or
right.
that, you have to, smoke it. I had no earthly idea. Okay.
Yes.
So the one word that you mentioned that I definitely want to make sure that we clarify for our listeners too is a tincture. What is that?
So tinctures are like drops. So think of like the eye drops that we're all pretty familiar with. It's same concept, little dropper, and that is what something that you said, putting it under your tongue.
Right.
I even encourage people, if they're a little hesitant in that area, you can put it in your favorite drink and still get the benefits. Okay. So I've had people put it in their Gatorade or put it in their water. It depending on the brand that you use, the ones that we offer, they either have like a minty taste or like a little fruity taste.
Okay.
So the taste is comparable and not nasty, which is, that's some people's fear. That's why they're scared to take it directly, because they think it's going to have like a bitter taste.
Gotcha.
But it doesn't have a bitter taste. It's really pretty, like a mint.
It's a minty taste. Okay. And then is it a concentrate, so that if you do put it in water, do you have to put it in like, certain things, you have to put a certain amount of drops per a certain amount of water or anything like that, so it's not diluted? Is it a concentrate?
Well, usually with your drops, you're going to do just one full dropper.
Oh, okay.
So just one full dropper. You don't really have to measure it based on like the amount of water you ingest. The CBD, it maintains its own consistency, so you don't have to worry about it actually becoming diluted that way.
Okay. Okay, so you see, that's a lot. Okay, so tinctures, okay, for those who are taking notes, okay, those are the drops. Those are how you do it. And you can either do it under the tongue, or another terminology for that is sublingual, where you just put it under your tongue, and that way it goes into your directly into your bloodstream. And please correct me if I'm wrong.
You're absolutely right.
And then or you can, like you said, put in your favorite drink. Like you said, you have coffees and teas, so those are other ways to do it. I'm just so amazed by how many ways that this can be administered. I had no idea. I had no idea. It's like you said, you do them through the distributors, because I think people are just thinking about the places that they see on the corner, or stores, and I've not been inside one. And I guess that's why I'm today years old on a lot of this, because it's finding out or understanding what it is, or how it is that is administered, how it is that it goes into your bloodstream. And I guess my next question is, how long is it that you take this? Because like you're saying, when you take yours and you're having relief for up to 4 months, I mean, that says to me that there's some type of shelf life with this, that you can have it, and it can go a long way.
Right. And so I tell people with CBD, you think of it like a vitamin. Okay. People that take a daily vitamin, that's something that's just a part of your day. Right. CBD is the same concept. And honestly, because a lot of times we're treating things that may or may not necessarily be our ailment. So CBD starts to decrease some of the pain things that you're taking, some of the medications. It's so amazing because CBD, it helps in so many different genres. So you have your pain cycle. It helps with, lowering blood pressure. It helps with diabetes. So just about any scenario that you can think of where your body is struggling in the area, even with sleep. People that are sleep deprived, when they take CBD, they start to have better nights of sleep. Okay. So it responds to whatever your body needs. And so with that, like, so some people, and a myth that I do want to debunk is they think if they don't have chronic pain, that they don't need to take CBD. And no, everyone should be taking CBD in some form for that reason, because it's that supplement and it's something that you should take every day. to maintain your CBD deficiency, to make
Okay.
sure that you don't become CBD deficient, and some people don't even realize it until they start to take it and then realize how much better they feel,
Right. And I think that's a wonderful point to make. Like you said, it's like a supplement, as opposed to just think of it as a pain relief or as a way to eliminate pain. It is more of a supplement to the CBD that's pre-existing in your body. So I love that you say that. So like you said, the thing that we're debunking here is that, if you don't have chronic pain, you don't have to take, you shouldn't take it. You can take it as a supplement. Are there any other myths that we've heard about that that you want to debunk for us while we're on that topic?
Let's get the biggest elephant in the room out the way.
Yes.
CBD does not make you high. A lot of people confuse CBD with marijuana, and so the best analogy that I can give you is CBD is your bougie cousin. That cousin that comes in and they have the upgraded purse and all that to get dirty. Marijuana is your crazy cousin, right? They're related. They're in the same family, but one is a little more refined and the other is not.
I love it.
So that's the thing. And with CBD, that's the thing I will say with a lot of the storefronts that offer CBD.
Right.
You do need to be careful. I know I'm out of the state of North Carolina, so marijuana is not legal here.
Right.
So with your CBD, you have to be careful and make sure that, if you can't have THC in your system, that your CBD is 100% THC free. And just a legality thing, because I don't know, I like to just talk about all the stuff. Legally, CBD can have 0.03% of THC in it.
Okay.
And that's fine. But if you are in a state that's not that does not have marijuana legal, that 0.03% still will present in a drug test.
Oh, okay.
So when you're taking CBD, especially if you don't want any of the THC, you want to get an isolate. And that's one of the things that a lot of times in the stores, it's harder to find that because it's a little more expensive to completely isolate the CBD from the small amount of THC that's in it.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's something else to write down too. THC. So you can only have it only has 0.03% THC is what's in CBD. But if it is in a state that is where marijuana is not legalized, it can show up in a drug test and can be detrimental, I guess, if that's something.
Yes.
So that's why it's important to make sure that you get it from a distributor or to get it from a reputable place as opposed to a storefront, or at least that's the question that you can ask. Does it contain THC? And if it does, then you say you have to have an isolate. Now, what does that do?
Okay, so the isolated form of CBD, it removes any ounce of THC.
Okay.
And so for a lot of medical professionals that do have their patients take CBD, and in my company, we have quite a few medical professionals that distribute our brand for that reason. Because if, for example, if a person has chronic pain and they're already taking certain narcotics or pain medications, one of the things that people may or may not know is they drug test those patients frequently.
Oh, wow.
To ensure that one, they're only taking what's been prescribed to them, because with narcotics there's a certain level of potential to become addicted to it. So we want to make sure they're not taking anything that's not prescribed to them, and then they're also trying to make sure they're not mixing it up with recreational drugs. And so with patients that are taking narcotics or pain medications, when they're getting drug tested, if they start to introduce CBD to their collection, what a lot of doctors were finding is if they were going to some of the local stores, it was advertised as THC free, but that 0.03% was still showing up in the drug test. And so with that, it'll say on the bottle, THC free. if you ask the store clerk, they may say, oh yeah, it's free of THC. But what you want to do is, if they do tell you that, ask for a certificate of analysis. Because if you with THC free CBD, you can get a certificate of analysis, and that will actually show you that the CBD and the THC were isolated from each other, and you should see a record of 0.00% of THC in your CBD. Or, you know, you can just make sure, like you said, get with a distributor that can do that work for you.
Right. No, but and these are excellent things to know, because, you know, there are some people out there who may be, you know, using CBD and then go to apply for a position and go and do a drug test, and then it comes back negative. Yes. And they're like, I don't know what's going on. So it's good to know that that's something to look for. It's just not, okay, I want to try this, I want to go in the store. Now, is that certificate of analysis, is that for the topical as well, or is that only for the one that you ingest?
You actually, with reputable companies, you can get it for any CBD product. Oh, okay. Because it has the serial number of the actual bottle that it's done. And if they've completely done it and isolated the THC from it, that certificate of analysis is proof of that. So, okay, you know, that comes with any form.
Very good. And that certificate of analysis is something that they should have, or is it something that they have to mail to you or send to you? Is that something that you can get on demand, like right away? Right. They should have it.
So I can speak for our company. It's online. You can actually put the lot number of the bottle that you have and find that certificate of analysis.
Oh, beautiful.
So other companies may have it set up differently. They may have to, you know, send it out to you. But that was one of the things, you know, dealing with so many medical professionals, right, having the science to support the benefits. And so that was just something that our company kind of set up for us.
That is amazing. I mean, like I said, boy, let me tell you something about, I'm a newborn.
Okay.
I am today years old. I'm going to keep on saying I'm today years old. That's why you're here, because there are so many things that we don't know. And that's something that's important to know. You know, we want to be able to, you know, take things that are going to help us. But if there is a side effect, or if there's something that we need to know, we need to have the vocabulary. Right. You know, we need to have the knowledge to be able to ask the questions. I would have never known to ask that. I would have just walked in the store and said, hey, you know, I want to try that topical. Okay, thanks. And I would have walked out of the store. I would have never asked anything about THC. I would have never known, you know, and then especially like, you know, for those who have to be drug tested regularly, that's huge. Mm-hmm. That's huge. And so you want to make sure that you're not setting yourself up. So, you know, like I said, for those who are listening, please make sure you're writing that down. THC. You want to make sure that there's an isolant, that they're isolating that THC from the CBD. You want to make sure that you have a certificate of analysis that says 0.00%, so that that way you are, you know, making sure that it is THC free, so that if you have to be drug tested, it does not show up in your drug test. Good stuff. This is good stuff. We're gonna keep it rocking on this one, because like I said, so, you know, like I said, we're debunking those myths. You want to make sure, like you said, it's not something that is sold in a back alley somewhere. You get a lot of that, because I know that in a prior conversation that we had, you know, you have elderly people who are saying, you know, I don't want to take it because I am a Christian man or woman, and I don't want anybody at the church to think I'm taking any type of drugs. So, you know, how do we address our saints?
Right, with my seasoned citizens, that's what I call them. I love them. I spend a lot of time with them, because with CBD, they're actually the demographic that needs it the most. Right. And so it's really just about the education, just teaching them and sharing with them, showing them the proof. And they're a demographic that are definitely, you know, introduced with the topical first. Right. Also, you know, with them, because a lot of the old seasoned citizens, they may be on medication, or you know, if they're not, they're even more hesitant to take anything. by mouth. So they're the ones that, I work with them and even introducing them to the gummies because they typically have less CBD than the tincture or the spray.
Okay.
So, I kind of meet people at their comfort level. Now I have some people who are just like, go ahead and give me the 1,500 milligram tincture. Let's do this thing all the way to the top.
Right.
And those people, I meet them where they are too. But yeah, definitely for the elderly, pain cream, the spray, they really enjoy that. The gummies, they like that because it's, it feels like a vitamin to them and they're pretty comfortable with that. And then a lot of them eventually do transition to taking a tincture at some level.
Gotcha. Okay, so like you said, there seems to be a progression. It's something that, like you said, you start with the creams, or you start with something like that it can go into immediately, then progress into things, because at some point it should be relieving the pain as it's going into your body daily. I'm assuming that at some point, but does it get to a point where you're just saying, okay, well, you said already that if it's if you have the CBD, there is something in that's fired off in your system, so it's something that you use continuously. So I mean, it's not something where you just say, okay, I'm not experiencing pain anymore, so I don't have to take this anymore.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, you definitely want to keep taking it, especially when you start to notice that it's working. Keep taking it. Like I take it daily. It is a because although I started out taking it for like my sciatica, I didn't realize how bad my shoulders were, and you start to realize your body, certain things were creaking, didn't notice they were creaking. So
turn 50, you'll realize it.
Exactly.
My everything.
Was I walking hunched over? Yeah, I was.
Right.
So straightening backs out and everything.
Wow. See, and that's like I said, that's good to know, because I think that's the biggest thing that people think, oh my goodness, it's going to be something that I'm going to wind up being addicted to. And because it's a supplement, just like you said, you don't get addicted to vitamins. You take it as a supplement. If you think about it that way, then you're not thinking about, oh well, I'm taking it because I need it, because it's a fix and I've got to have it.
Yes.
That's not what it is. I like that you use that word supplement, because that's what it is. It's not like an opioid or something like that that's going to cause you to become addicted to it. It's going to be something that is just a supplement that you're using in your daily health or your daily wellness journey that you're going through. I think that's excellent for them to have that.
I want to speak on that too, because that is another myth. And the thing is, what a lot of people don't realize, they're actually using CBD to help people get off of the opioids. So it is starting to become that replacement, because a lot of people want to start holding doctors accountable for the prescriptions and things of that nature. So CBD is actually what they're trying to use to replace that, because it does have the pain relief. It helps with that. And so it's actually what they're using to help with the opioid crisis and to help with prevention of addiction. So yes.
See, and that's good to know. See, we're hearing all of the good things, all of the benefits of CBD, and that's the big thing too. I know we talk about the benefits, we talk about the pain relief, we talk about the supplement, we talk about how it helps with sleep, and how, like you said, it's helping with reducing the amounts of opioids that people are using and being exposed to. Now, are there any side effects that because I know with everything there's always some little side effects, so I do want to address that too, just so that people don't realize, oh my goodness, it's a miracle, it's the best thing ever, there's nothing that could possibly be wrong with. We just want to talk about that. We're talking about debunking myths and things like that. Let's talk about some of those side effects that you may have.
Right. So with CBD, clinically, the only thing that they have seen that could be a potential side effect, and that's why I encourage anyone that's taking medication to show it to their primary care provider, is that there may, sometimes with certain medications, it may cause liver issues. Gotcha. And so because you don't want to have too much of that enzyme. And so that is that's the only side effect that's out there that they're saying this is something that you want to monitor.
Right.
And so, with your primary care provider, knowing that you're taking CBD,
Right.
that's something that they can monitor. If for some reason they notice a change in your blood work or something, then
Right.
we know what's going on. And so that's one of the only side effects that I've that's researched and that has been proven. But even with that, it's been pretty rare, and it's something that we just say, hey, let your doctor know you're taking it, and they'll monitor your blood work, and then that way we know, okay, this has been introduced, this is new. If any changes are happening, what are they?
Right. And that's the biggest thing too. And just like you said, knowledge is power, and communication.
Yes.
We cannot reiterate that enough. Anytime you make any changes to your daily regimen, even with regards to vitamins, just like when you go to your primary care physician or you go to any doctor and they say, what medications or supplements are you taking? They want to know everything that you're taking. Not just, they want to know what, I put down everything. I'm taking vitamin A, B, C, D, elemental P. I'm telling them everything. I'm taking, elderberry. I'm taking everything. You tell them everything, because if you don't share that information, just like you said, you're doing yourself a disservice by not being honest about the things that you're taking and the things that you're doing and the supplements that you're using, because there are so many things that conflict with other things that can cause greater problems. And because you haven't shared that information, you don't want to find that out when they're taking you to the emergency room because you've collapsed or you've had some type of bad reaction. And I think it's also important, when we're talking about using topical things, if you notice any differences in any reactions to your skin, are you getting blisters? Are you noticing any, bumps or any type of redness or soreness, anything like that? Anything that you're taking topically or that you're ingesting, you're wanting to make sure that if you notice anything in your system or notice any differences in behaviors or your skin texture or how you're feeling, to make sure that you share that information. So I just want to make sure we put that out there too, that people are being safe. But I'm glad that you bring that, to people's attention. You must be able to share, that you're taking, CBD, that you're taking it in the right doses. I noticed you talking about milligrams and things like that, and that you're getting with somebody who can, properly introduce you to the product, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so that's it. We want to make sure that like I said, knowledge is power. Are there any other myths or any other things that we want to debunk? Because I want to make sure we get that all out here, so that way people know what to ask and how to ask and how to proceed if they're interested in really doing it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Really the biggest, their biggest concerns, of course, are, does it get you high? How can I take it? Different ways you can take it. And I really, those are the biggest myths, but I say for any questions that you have, just get educated on it. There are so many people out here now that CBD is so big. You just have to make sure that you're talking to someone that truly understands CBD, knows what they're talking about, and can just show you the certified proof of it. So that's the thing. Just making sure that you have, you can reach out to someone with that knowledge, and platforms like this where we're able to get up here, have the conversation, and really just share the truth about CBD.
Right. So. I love that. Well, the one thing that we definitely want to do is make sure that we tell people how they can get in contact with you, because we know that you are a reputable distributor. We know that, you've talked to us about these certificates of analysis and how those things are available, with your company. And that's something that's important. So tell our listeners how they can get in contact with you. So at least that way they can ask the question. This is how we start the conversation.
Yes, absolutely. So you can reach out to me at jurinapender.com. Okay. And, I have no problem ever sitting down with anyone and answering their questions. If you want to do a CBD profile to see, what works for you, what could be your game plan to start your CBD intake. And then, I also allow people to try samples of certain products.
Okay.
So if there's something out there like a pain cream or spray that you want to try, you can go to my JurinaPender.com site and just, shoot me your email address and we'll get the conversation going. So that's how you can reach out to me.
Awesome. Okay. So y'all got that www.JurinaPender.com. That's JurinaPender.com. For those who can't see it, those who are listening, we want to make sure we spell that out for you. And that'll be the way that you can get in contact with Jurina. Thank you so much for joining us and for demystifying CBD for us and for giving us, these nuggets of information so that way we can be informed, so that we can make the best decisions for ourselves when we're talking about dealing with chronic pain. So again, I appreciate you coming out and doing that. Now, what I'm going to do is ask you, as I ask all of my guests who come on the show, to tell me how you are living in the now. We are living in a different season and in a different space and in a different time. And everyone has different ways of which to deal with the now. How do you deal with it now?
So I am a writer. So I like to turn my music on and, get to writing and, and just, and I think that in my writing and then just, having conversations with people similar to this, it just kind of helps get me through this time. The more people I help, the better I feel during the now.
That's it. I love it. And that's always a wonderful thing to be able to write. A lot of people journal. A lot of people, it's a form of a beautiful self-expression when we can write things down, and then we can even go back and look at how things have changed, even from weeks to week, from a month, even from things that were going on last year, because now changes minute by minute. And so it's wonderful that you do that. I love that you share that. Okay, that's another way that we can live in this now. We can write things down and be able to express ourselves, and to be able to express ourselves through words and through confirmations and affirmations, and those things are important. So I'm thankful that you shared that. Again, if you want to get in contact with Jurina, you go to www.JurinaPender.com, and like she said, she can help you with any of the help you to create your CBD profile, and can also assist you with any free samples that you may want to try out. So definitely go and hit her up, send her your email, and let's make sure that we're informed. So hopefully this has been an education. Like I said, I was today years old. I learned a whole lot about CBD. So, I will definitely be talking with Jurina offline, and we're going to figure some things out. Remember that it is a supplement. Remember that these are things that are going to help us to be able to live the best life that we can, and live a life with less pain, and not feel that we have to live in a state of chronic illness and pain. We're seeing too many people who are just living their lives this way, and it's not necessarily the way it has to be. So we can educate ourselves. We're going to inform ourselves so that way we can be the best versions of ourselves. So again, thank you so much for being with us, Jurina. I appreciate it.
So much fun.
You are always welcome back, because as things change, honey, I always tell people you are welcome to come back and tell us how they're changing. So we're always making sure that we are in this now. Okay.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. And I love this platform. This is amazing.
Thank you so much. That is my pleasure. Okay. And that will do it for this edition of the How Now podcast, where we talk about how to live in the now. And until I see you guys next time, I say peace.